Okay, so we are recording and we will have the recording available for you afterwards. We do have a Telegram group as well. So if you want to send me a DM with your Telegram name and number, I'll get you added to the Telegram group. You can send that DM through the Zoom meeting itself. There's also a meetups feedback form as well. When the meetup is over, you'll be asked to fill out the feedback form. We do appreciate if you could do it, as it helps other people find the meetup and it gives us better visibility. And finally, none of what we say tonight is financial advice. And if my slides would move on. Okay, in our meeting tonight, our code of conduct, as always, be aware of others, be friendly and patient, be welcoming and respectful, be open to all questions and viewpoints, be understanding of differences, and be kind and considerate to others. So upcoming meeting next week, next Friday, we have Trading Basics by Dee. So our own David has agreed to give us just some basics on trading. We've been asked for quite a lot. So in addition to that, if we need a separate breakout room, we will also do a separate breakout room. But the main topic for next week is Trading Basics. And tonight we were going to talk about Coin of the Month. Now we were going to have a breakout room, but unfortunately, because both Dee and Simon aren't available this evening, I've got nobody to co-host with me. So we're not going to do the breakout room. Instead, we're going to do Coin of the Month, and we're also going to go through some stuff on Metamask, because I know quite a few people have been asking about it, and quite a few people have also been stuck on it as well. So we'll go through some stuff on MetaMask, and we will talk about Coin of the Month as well. So that is it. I can stop sharing now. And Viviana is just joining us.
Hello, guys.
How you doing, Viviana? How are you? Welcome.
Great. How are you?
Not too bad at all. It's a quiet week this week, so it is. So I suppose we have Renda, and is this your partner beside you, Renda, or?
Yes, it's Ali and Renda.
Hi. Ali and Renda, do you want to do a quick introduction, because most of us here are already familiar with each other? Do you want to just do a quick introduction? And
yeah, I'm Ali. I'm Renda's partner. I'm half German, half Egyptian, and we just moved from Cyprus to London about a month ago, after spending about 2 years there in lockdown. And I started because it's the discussion is cryptocurrency. I started in January, even though I had a lot of insight into it before then. But the actual physical, you know, where you put your money where your mouth is, as they always say it, that was in January, a month too late, but it's okay.
Yeah, that happened to me in 2017. I got right in at the end, not realizing it's the end. But on saying that, I'm not saying that this bull run has ended either. It's still very hard to tell whether it's a bear trend in a bull market or it's a reversal of a bull trend. It's still very much up in the air. So welcome. Have you got
just to say one last word, because that's probably an important point. I've turned from trader to investor.
That's the best mindset. So it is.
So I'm a hodler. I'm a
hodler too, and some of them I've been hodling since 2017. So welcome. Okay, well, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go through some MetaMask stuff first, okay? Some of you will be familiar with MetaMask. Some of you have never used it, and some of you have been asking questions. So I'm going to share my screen. Now, when I have my screen shared, I can't see if anybody's putting anything in the chat or anything. So there's only a few of us here. Feel free to cut across me and ask me questions at any stage. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. And I'm going to open up my MetaMask and share my wallet. Okay, MetaMask. What MetaMask is, basically MetaMask is an Ether wallet that allows you to connect any Web3 application to your wallet. Now, when you connect your Web3 application to your wallet, you don't have to hand over your private keys when you're signing transactions. And this is hugely, hugely important and was a major breakthrough when Metamask was released. So Metamask is an extension that you can download from your browser. It connects directly to the ETH blockchain, and it can store any Ether, any ERC type, ERC20 type tokens. Okay, now when you download Metamask to use Metamask, make sure you download it for the right browser type. Okay, now the browser that I'm actually in at the moment is Chrome, but the one I tend to use more often is Brave. Now it works extremely well on Brave, but I actually have different wallets in different places, so it's this one I want to demonstrate, and that's why I'm using the Chrome one this evening. Brave has a built-in VPN, which gives extra security when you're online and stuff over and above using the likes of Chrome. So you download it and you install it onto your browser. Okay, so by installing it onto your browser, what that means is it adds a little app. So if you can see up here in the top right of my screen, there is a little symbol and it says MetaMask. So it adds something to your browser, and this stores all your information without passing it over to the websites when you connect to them. Okay, so when you download it, you will have to set it up. When you set it up, you're given a seed phrase. This is a big, huge, long, ridiculous password. It's probably about 20 words. I can't remember offhand now, but you need to store this, and you need to store this really, really safely, really, really securely. This is your gateway, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what device you are, of being able to access your ETH wallet. Now, when you install it on a particular device, you'd be given that passphrase, you store it, you then add a password for your actual device. So when you put in your password, I'm going to just open my MetaMask and log out and figure out how to log out. I actually don't know how to log out. Okay. When you go onto a website, it'll ask you to log in. So you'll set up a password. This is a normal password. It's not 20 words. It's anything that you want. And that password will only work on that browser. So if you have MetaMask set up on your browser and you also wanted to install it on your mobile phone, you would need your seed phrase, that big, huge 22-word password or whatever it is, to connect to the same account on your phone, whereas you may set up a different password. So the one seed phase, no matter what device, you can go to a device anywhere in the world, install MetaMask, and you can have direct access to all of your funds and be able to log in and do transactions on any Web3 application. So what is a Web3 application? Well, most famously at the moment, Web3 applications are decentralized finance projects. They're DeFi projects. If any of you were here then for the presentation I gave a couple of weeks ago on Web3, I discussed social media sites. And there's a different browser extension for that particular one because it's not on the Ether blockchain, okay? Now, MetaMask has been configured that not only can you connect to the ETH blockchain, but you can also connect to the Binance Smart Chain. You can connect to Matic. You can connect to XDAI. And I'm sure there's a few more that you can also connect to as well. So once you set it up originally, it's set up on the main net, on the Ether main net, okay? So I'll just open mine back up here again. And when we set it up, it'll come up with Ether main net up here. Okay, now at the moment, this is not connected to the particular website that I'm on because we have not connected here. Okay, now there's nothing on this site for me to connect to, so that's why it's not connected. It's not a Web3 site. This here is my account number. Okay, it's a public key. This is the key that I use. This is the my wallet address that I use if I want people to send me funds or if I want to fund my wallet. So literally, if I wanted to fund this wallet from the likes of Binance Exchange, I would copy to clipboard my address. And when I'm sending my funds, that's the address that I would send them to. On this here, what it actually shows to you is, because this is the Ether mainnet, it will only show you Ether as the main coin and the value of that main coin on the main screen. Okay, now you can go into assets here and it will also show you any other assets that you might have. You can also go into activity, and activity will show you all of your last transactions. I deleted mine when I reset my wallet. Now, from in here, you can also buy, send, and swap. Okay, so if you wanted to fund your wallet or if you wanted to buy a coin, you can select buy. And this will allow you to buy Ether from Wire. So this is a direct cash transfer to get Ether on into your Ether wallet. If you wanted to send something to somebody, you basically go into send, you get their address, which, as we've seen a second ago, they can just take from here. Okay, send you the address, you paste it in here. So let me just select my other own wallet. Okay. From in here, then you can select what coin it is that you want to send. So you can have any ERC20 token on your Ether, on the Ether mainnet, and they'll all be listed in here. So you can select any of these and you can decide if you have a balance of any of them. I have none of this, but let's just pretend I can put in the amount I want to send one. And it's saying I don't have enough tokens, which is okay at the moment. It then goes and tries and reads the gas prices. Now, this can be quite confusing for people because these values always change, okay? The gas prices are a best guesstimate by the system of the price that will get through. Now, there are tools there for you to see what price in gas that you should be paying for either a slow transaction, an average transaction, or a fast transaction. And you can manually change these accordingly. If you go into the advanced options, again, it gives you more details for manually changing these. Okay, so this is the GUI price and the gas limit. So it's this price here that you kind of keep an eye on, okay? This will give you a breakdown of it then down here, how much it will cost you in the ETH value. So it converts the GUI to the ETH value just so you know. So that's how you can send tokens back and forth to people. So I'll just cancel that. And then MetaMask also introduced a swap facility. So you can swap your coins directly in MetaMask as well if there is a pair setup. So let's say I wanted to swap Ether for Swissborg, and I wanted to swap 0.3 Ether for Swissborg. It gives me the option to do that, verified on 4 sources. It then gives me slippage. Okay, now what slippage means is this is the price that you're prepared to pay over and above the current price for your order. So when your order goes through, it might get stuck on the network for a minute or two and the price might change. So if you put in a slippage, it allows you to buy either side within the slippage percentages here. Okay, so I just cancel that as well and just go into some other details in here. So if we go in here, we can have an expanded view of the account, and this will open up your account in basically the Explorer window, and it gives you the exact same information again, but in a bigger view so you can see it properly. You can also, what else would be important in here? I think probably showing you some transactions now and how different things work. So I'm going to switch network, and I am going to log onto a website. Okay, so I'm in this particular farm at the moment. It's a decentralized finance farm at the moment, and I'm currently not connected. So because my buttons aren't working. So I need to make sure, first of all, that my mask is on the right network. So this is, it's going very slow for me now. It's on Matic. So I've changed it to the Matic network. So once you have your network set up, and I'm going to give you instructions for setting up networks in a second as well, you switch between them from this little drop down here. So I've switched onto the Matic network now. Okay, now just to show you what happens with some transactions, because the transactions and the stuff that comes up on the screen can confuse people quite a lot. In this particular circumstance, it says here, I have 6 farms to actually 6 pools to actually harvest. If I press this now, I'm going to have 6 transactions to actually approve. Okay, so I'm going to press it, and I'm just going to let you see what happens. and explain these sort of transactions to you. So these transactions, no matter which network you're on using MetaMask, are going to look exactly the same, okay? So it gives me the details of the transaction. You have to pay your gas fees on all networks. Now, because this is Matic, it's actually an awful lot cheaper than the ETH blockchain. So the ETH blockchain, you could be paying at the moment, cheap prices are very cheap, and probably the most you'd be paying is about $25. But on the Matic network, the most you're going to be paying is probably about 0.02 cent for a transaction. So we can see here that my transaction fee in dollars isn't even registering because this is 0.0002 of a Matic, and a Matic is only worth about 130 or 140. Okay, so all you're really confirming here is that you want to or carry out this transaction and you're willing to spend this gas price. Now, the gas price here again is a best estimate. You can increase this if you find things are going very slow. So I'm going to confirm, and I'm going to get 6 of these now to confirm. So because I have just explained that one to you, I'm going to go ahead and confirm all 6 of these. And then I'm going to go back into my wallet now. And in my wallet, we have this pending transaction down here. So if something is showing up as red here in pending, and a problem a lot of people get because the gas prices can fluctuate so much that they send through an order that the gas price changes and that the miners leave it in the queue. And the order gets stuck and it never actually hits the blockchain. But when that happens, you also can't do any other transactions. And you need to be able to delete the transactions that are stuck. And this is really, really important. It happened to me a few times. And when I done a Google search, it went through, go through this, you have to change the custom names and all these crazy steps. And then by fluke, I found an easy resolution. And the easy resolution is if we go into our settings, so if we go into settings, and in settings, go into advanced, and in advanced, you have reset account. Now, reset account isn't going to actually reset anything at all. All it's going to do is delete any outstanding transactions. So I'm going to delete that. And we go back in and my transactions are gone. And we can see in the time that it took me, one of them had gone through and there's still 5 left, but I had actually managed to cancel them. So if you need to cancel transactions, that's the way to do it. Now, we were also then asked about using the likes of Uniswap and these swapping sites with our MetaMasks. Okay, so I'm going to go into trade here and into exchange. Now, this is QuickSwap, okay, on MetaMask. Sorry, QuickSwap on Matic. It's exactly the same as Uniswap, PancakeSwap, all these swap sites that you're going to find on the different blockchains, they all work the same. Okay, so when you go into them, you have options for swap, liquidity, and lately the newest feature being added to a lot of them is a bridge. Now, what a bridge will allow you to do is bring tokens from one blockchain to another. So if you have something on the Binance Smart Chain and you wanted to move it to the ETH blockchain, to the mainnet, you'd use a bridge. If you have something on the mainnet and you wanted to bring it to Matic, you'd also use a bridge. Okay, but once you have them all on the one blockchain, you can carry out the swaps between them. So if I wanted to swap some Matic, let's just say, because it's come up in here, and I wanted to sell it for US dollars, I'll pick USDC. Let me sell the maximum amount of this. Okay. Now, if it's your first transaction with that particular token, you need to approve the app to spend it. So you'll have an extra button here to say approve first. Once you've approved that token on the app, you'll never have to approve it again. All you'll need to do is your swap. Now, the thing with swaps is at the moment, you can't set a price. You can't say, I want to sell my Matic when it's at 240. You have to take the current price. And the current price mightn't even be a straight exchange between what you're looking to buy and sell. So in this case, the route it's taking, what it does is what these decentralized exchanges does, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, QuickSwap, what they all do is they go out into the market and they see what pools there are and see what they can swap around to get you what you want at the best price. So in this case, if I swap this Matic for USDC, it's going to go from Matic to wrapped Matic to Ether to wrapped BC to wrapped USD before I get it. Okay. And the price impact, it will impact the price by 0.01%. And I'll also pay a liquidity provider fee as well. Now, this is all cheaper than using a centralized exchange such as Coinbase, such as Binance. It just all works out much cheaper, and there's better pools, there's better offerings. So you can swap things against each other that you wouldn't normally find pairs on a traditional centralized exchange. You can also, from within these, you can add liquidity. And I think, Viviana, you were asking about adding, was it you that was asking about adding liquidity through these exchanges? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
At one stage, I asked.
Okay, so we will go through that because it is the same sort of thing. So I'm just going to pick something I can just add liquidity to for a minute. Okay, I think I can add some to this. Okay, so if we go into the liquidity, what this does is when you're adding liquidity, you're adding, basically, you're helping finance different things on blockchains, from loans from people trading to developer funds for different things. Okay, people take loans of all cryptocurrencies and use them for different reasons. And that's what you're basically funding using these pools. And that's why there is rewards using these pools. But most of the time, the pools are dual-sided. So that means you have to add in 2 tokens. Okay. Now, in this particular case, the 2 tokens for this pool that I've selected is Matic and Yield. Now, when you add the tokens, they have to be added in the same ratio, US dollar ratio. So for example, I have 470 Matic, okay? For 470 Matic, I press the max button there. I would need 1.4 of these Yield to add to the pool. Okay, now I don't have 1.4 of them, so I can't add 1.4. So I'm going to hit max down here, and it's telling me that I can add 0.6 Yield, will take 204 of my Matic. And that's the ratio it goes into the pool at. So if I press supply and I confirm the supply, and this gives me my little MetaMask notification again. So again, it's just, this is the Web3 website that I'm on. We are adding liquidity. This is the amount of liquidity that I'm adding. These are my fees. This is the gas that is being charged, which means my total transaction amount is this amount here. So we can just say confirm or reject if you didn't want it to go through. And we wait for this to actually go in. Now, what we've done there is we've swapped our tokens. So we've taken them out of our wallet now, and we've put them into what's known as liquidity pool tokens. Okay, so they've been mashed together to form this one token called a liquidity pool token. So once you have this liquidity pool token, you actually still need to go through another step. And that other step is to add it to the liquidity pool itself. So I'm still waiting on that transaction to happen. It's pending. So I'll go into the other screen anyway while it's pending. Okay, and I haven't got a confirmation, but anyway. To add them, when the confirmation comes in, what we then need to do is go over to the actual pool itself where you want to add them. And each decentralized finance platform will look slightly different, and you may need to look for different icons to do this with. But we would just press plus. We would add in the maximum amount. For some reason, the transaction hasn't happened yet. And we would press confirm. And that's basically it then done. Does that make sense to you, Viviana? Yeah?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on MetaMask and the use of MetaMask and all that sort of stuff? I'll stop sharing my screen now because I know it can be confusing for people at times. So has anybody been stuck with anything that has any questions on it or anything like that? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, well, do you know, we have loads of time left and we have very few people in from Coin of the Month contest. So I'm not going to bring that up now. What we're going to do instead is basically open up the floor to just general questions that you have about crypto, about trading, about exchanging, about fiat on and off ramps, about anything at all that you want to ask. Now is your time. Go ahead, Viviana.
I have one question. Given the trend of the market, the crypto market is a bit unknown at the moment. What will be the best option? Like is staking coins, adding liquidity, or just holding them again? Because it's a bit confusing.
Okay, so not to be taken as financial advice, all I can tell you is what I'm doing. Okay. Okay. I bought back into Bitcoin. So I did. Yeah. Now I know it's taken a little bit more of a tumble, but I've now bought back into Bitcoin. I do believe that I don't believe we're at the bottom, but I believe personally for me, trying to catch the bottom is going to be absolutely impossible. Okay, I think anything below 50,000 on Bitcoin, you're definitely going to get a 2x, whether it's this year or next year. There's definitely a 2x in that short time frame. But I want to hold Bitcoin for a little bit longer than that. So buying in at this price for me is absolutely fine. I haven't bought back in to altcoins. Okay, some of them I held, I didn't sell, okay, and I've held down to the bottom as I did in 2017, but I have these staking and in pools, okay? So on Binance itself, there's loads of savings accounts. So if you're just on Binance and you haven't moved to decentralized finance, they have a thing called Earn. And if you go into that, you can see all the different pools that they have. Now, the interest rates are really, really low, like they're 1%, 2%, 3%. They're really, really low. But if it's just sitting there, it's ticking over and it's free money. Okay. Then I'm also using the liquidity pools like I showed you there. So I had sold out and I have stable coin. So I find whatever pools are given the best rates for the stable coins and I'm pooling them. Now, at first I was going for basically for whatever was given the best rates, but now I'm being a little bit more strategic about things. Like I would like some Matic. I would like to hold a good bit of Matic and I don't have a good bit of Matic. So I've put some of my stable coins into a farm that is spitting out Matic. Okay, that's on Curve. So I'm strategically looking for pools of coins that I was going to buy back in for, and I'm trying to farm them. So that means then when I do buy back in, I will also have accumulated. So I'm using this now to accumulate and to accumulate as much as possible. What about you, Viviana? How have you been playing it?
At the moment, I'm staking ADA in the Yoroi wallet, and I'm waiting for the best.
And what sort of returns is that given?
It's really low, but at least it's something. And
Okay.
I'm not. I don't have to add any like
Bitcoin.
yes, exactly, any cash or like any fiat money to the pool itself. So I will invest that one for Bitcoin as well. So
Oh, they take Bitcoin as well, do they?
no, they don't. But I will go to another.
Oh, you resell it. Yeah.
So
When you farm. Okay, Mike has just joined us. How you doing, Mike? How are you? I'm not sure if you can hear me. You don't seem to have a mic on, so welcome anyway. Renda, have you got any questions that you'd like to ask?
You can ask Ali. At the moment, I'm learning a lot from you guys. I'm the observant, but he's the expert.
Yeah, I won't fill up too much of your time because it's your show, but
It's
I
not,
don't
no,
get.
it's a community. We all.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't-
no, please.
I don't know if you've recently noticed that a lot of the banks are offering services to get into the crypto. Obviously, for that service, they're going to charge a fee. Okay, it can be anywhere from between 0.5% and 1% for going in and going out. One of the advantages of going into obviously it has to be a bank which has good rating or has a good client base. Apart from being a provider of crypto, it can also be a provider of other. It could be stock exchange, etc. But the good thing about that, and this is my, obviously it's not advice, but this is my route, is that I don't deal with all the holding the coins and holding the codes, and because I'm an investor, so I've already paid my fee to go in. Obviously, I haven't just gone in once. Obviously, I've gone in and gone out, and the bank has made quite a few thousand off me. But still, right now, I'm looking. What I've learned over the last few months is I'm going in long term, like you said, 2x. There's obviously some old coins that might hit the 4x, might be more, and you have to. It's a psychological game, basically. So you're getting the rewards. The high risk is being paid back through the psychological. It's a roller coaster. And you have to just and the more you do it, the tougher you are. Even if it hurts your wallet sometimes, but that's okay.
No, but I think what what Paula was trying to say, introducing like Metamask and other platform. Yes, it's more to eliminate the fiat link.
Yeah, I think
but you're promoting the bank.
No,
you're promoting the fiat in the link. But
the fiat. Obviously, Michael Saylor is one of the top promoters of Bitcoin, and he's just got Ethereum running as well as a potential for him to. He's probably already invested, but on the quiet side. But the fiat currency will always. This is not a battle to take away the dollar. To take down the it's.
I agree. I fully agree. It's not a battle to take down.
And you will never be able to take down the dollar.
It's an alternative. It's
Exactly.
basically an alternative for those that are looking for an alternative. It does pose a threat to the dollar. It does pose a threat to the entire financial global system as it exists at the moment. But that's up to the governments to sort out and to handle, and it's not for us to worry about too much, except for the FUD that it can cause when China bans crypto every 6 months and it dumps because China's banned crypto again. John, you have your hand up there.
Yeah, I have a couple questions relating to the staking pools that you participate in currently, Paula.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you have a favorite or one that you may recommend for someone who hasn't participated in a staking pool quite yet.
Okay. Well, there's one that I'm using at the moment that I actually demonstrated there to you, and that was Polyfinance or Polyyield.finance. Okay. And that's on the Matic blockchain. Now, the reason why I'm using that is because it's only a couple of days old, okay? And the tokenomics are extremely interesting. What you'll find with a lot of these decentralized finance is that their token is unlimited supply or it's an elastic supply. So what an elastic supply means is that they will, there's no limit in how much they're going to produce, but they're also going to be burning. So it can go up and it can go down. And the burn rate depends on whatever is written into their contract. Most often it's the 4% fees for joining the pool. So if there's not continuous money added to the pool, there's no burning, and the price of coins go down, and you can see it on farms all of the time. The tokenomics on that one on the Matic blockchain that I was on, here's Marco in with us, is that there's only 60,000 coins ever, okay? And that it is going to be a reducing supply. So there's a burn mechanism as well. So there will be 60,000 farmed, but it is going to be a reducing supply. And that's why I really particularly like this farm. So I'd like to get some of those coins to hold on to them, because I think they have a future. And because it's new, the rates are really, really high. Would you like a link for it?
Yeah, that would be great. So would that be the number one that you recommend?
That's the number one that I'm recommending at the moment. Okay. And my number two is one that I recommended quite some time ago that I'm still on, and that is Cub Finance. And Cub Finance is on the Binance Smart Chain, and they're offering really good rates as well. And both of these platforms offer a thing called auto compounding. So if you put it into the right pool, it'll just keep compounding and compounding and compounding. So let me get you a link.
That'd be great.
Actually, if you don't mind, there is a referral link on Polyeld that, if you don't mind me sharing, I'll share.
That'd be great.
And
then how often usually like harvest?
Well, it really depends on how much you have in, okay? Because it's repaid here as a percentage. So 1% of €100 is only €1. It wouldn't be worth me farming that 5 or 6 times a day. But if you have large, it really depends on your rewards, okay? And how much your rewards are and what you want to do with them, and if the price is going down. Personally, I have a little bit of time to be doing my farming, and that Polyeld one that I'm in, I do have a little bit in, and I'm probably farming it about 8 times a day at the moment. Because then I can just auto compound it and it works really well. But my Cub one, I was farming it daily. I'm down to farming it every second day. Let me just get you the link for Cub. So Cub is on the...
Hi, Paula. A quick question for me. I'm on the wrong room, or what happened?
Were you in the wrong room? Hi, Marco.
Hey, I arrived late. I think I'm on the beginner's room, no?
No, do you know what, Marco? We actually have a really quiet night tonight.
Oh,
So
okay.
Yeah, no, Dee and Simon both are unable to attend.
Okay, sorry about that.
England are playing in the Euros. So there's quite a lot of people missing because England are playing. Harley's looking really surprised that England are playing.
Okay, sorry about that. You can continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, John, go ahead there.
So it's not a set it and forget it type ordeal.
If you go into the auto compounding one, you can set it and forget it. But if you're not all of them auto compound, so those ones you do have to farm yourself. But people with less in them wouldn't have to farm as often. No, it's really personal choice how much you want, how many times a day you want to harvest on them.
Sounds good. All right, thank you. I think I gotta try it, but I'm kind of nervous. I think I have to use a VPN out in the States, so it's gonna be. I just want to make sure I do it all right.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, look, do you know what, John? If you need to hook up with me another time to go through it, and we can share screens if you're stuck.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's no problem. Because I've helped get other people set up as well that have been stuck and have been nervous, but have wanted to try it. And do you know what? I have something for you that I'll send to you later on Telegram that'll help you a little bit. Okay.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem. Mike, welcome. I see you've just turned on your camera, and we have somebody in here, Few Bucks. I'm not sure who's in with the name Few Bucks. Mike, would you like to introduce yourself quickly?
Well, I'm from the Netherlands, so I hope you all hear me, or?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's via my telephone, so I hope everybody is hearing me loud and clear. From the Netherlands, not very long in crypto, only from 2017. Made some bad decisions last year. Sold some coins a little bit too early, but still having some Bitcoin. But yeah.
2017 doesn't make you that new, really.
Sorry.
2017 makes you a bit of a veteran, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
New to the game. New to the game is a couple of weeks or a couple of months, really. It's not What sort of stuff are you into? Are you into the technology? Are you into trading? Are you into investing?
Oh, a little bit of everything. Not only for, yeah, how to say, yeah, I just buy some things that I like. What I see, what I think that has potential for the future. But yeah, you never know for sure. Of course, it's always a little bit of feeling that you have with the technology. Yeah, how to say? Yeah, well, it's a little bit difficult to explain, but it's, yeah, I follow my feelings. Just to say
Okay.
that like that. So I'm not a big investor, not a heavy investor, but yeah, try to get some profits where I can, and yeah.
Have you
See
been
where it
involved
goes.
in any of the decentralized finance projects?
No.
You haven't been involved in any of that yet?
No.
Okay, Harley, have you been staking anything yet?
No, I haven't. No, nothing at all. I'd probably be in the same boat as John, maybe needing a wee bit of a handhold through that
Okay.
process, I think. But I and for Viviana as well, I didn't quite understand the whole. I'm still needing to get my head wrapped around some concepts. So those three are definitely some that I still need to unpick a little bit more. But yeah, the way you explained it there, it was really fantastic.
Well, that's all recorded and can go on YouTube. So when you're actually doing it, you'd be probably looking at the screen going, what was said here? What does this mean? So I know I went through it really, really fast, but the recording will be there. So you'll have the information and you'll be able to go back over it whenever you want. What about you, Carlos? Have you been on any farms doing any pooling or anything like that? What has your strategy been the last few weeks, apart from holidaying? You're on mute.
I literally stopped doing anything because I've been busy at work, and I've been also on holidays, so I haven't really paid too much attention. And given that the market seems to be sort of going down again with some deep waves, I haven't really paid much attention. But I think the proper strategy is to farm it or stake it or to put it somewhere where you can get some interest. And I've done it before in Binance, and I've done it in a few more places. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I've been doing. But I think that's what people have been doing now currently, because the market is looks a little bit somber. So the usual games or the usual game of investing and getting in and getting out, it's a little bit curved given the market is not that good. Hopefully it will get better.
It's quite volatile. I know D is still trading. Now he's not leverage trading like he was before, but he's still trading. And he's saying with the swings being so high that the trading at the moment is actually brilliant. Is anybody else actually trading at the moment?
No.
Do we have any traders now?
I think you need the good knowledge to make money in this situation. Otherwise, you're going to burn yourself. Even worse.
Yeah, well, Dee's going to give us some tips next week, some trading tips next week. I have to say now, I'll give him a bit of credit here. He's quite good at it. And he's very disciplined. You know, the way you have to have a strategy and stick to it and all. He does all that and cuts the emotional side out, which is what makes him good. Marco, how has your week, how have you been playing things?
I has been really busy in the last weeks. So I keep an eye on the market. I still waiting for the entry points that I wanted. So I'm on the expectation that the markets go deeper, and then I buy on the deep. So I'm not interested I'm not a day trader. So I'm always looking for the long term. So I think I still believe that the market is going to touch a little bit down. So I'm waiting for that entry point.
Yeah, you weren't here when I said it earlier, Marco. I bought back into Bitcoin. I'm half like, oh no, what did I do? And the other half of me is like, oh, do you know what? Long term, it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. So the only thing is, I still think that is a good opportunity to make some Bitcoin. So maybe I have some selling orders because I still have some Bitcoin. I have some selling orders if it touch back on the 48,000, 46, between 46 and 48. I have some orders to sell. And then I have orders to buy back from the 24 up to down to the 20s. So I still think that he goes to touch on the top and then he comes down and then he will jump again. That's my thoughts, but I'm not a, a very big expert.
It's the thoughts of a lot of others out there as well. I have watched some videos and talked to a few others, and people are waiting for it to retest 48, but it seems to be retesting 30 quite a lot and not even making it to 48. And the 48 is nearly going out the window because that 30 is sooner going to break because then touching 48 because it's just not getting there.
Yeah, but if I don't get, I have some really free amount on the account that I'm ready to buy on the dip. So, and in fact, I'm not going to go heavy on Bitcoin. I'm going to go heavy on Ethereum because I think Ethereum has a bigger chance to grow up more than Bitcoin on the next months.
Do you think Ether will flip Bitcoin in market cap?
I don't think that will happen soon, but I think you will have more gains on the short term, let's say on the next 6 months on the Ether than on BTC.
Does anybody think Ether might flip Bitcoin and market cap in the next 12 months?
I don't think that will happen on the next 12 months, but it will happen on a certain on the future for sure, because you see the potential that is there with the dApps on Ether, so it will be natural that that's going to happen.
So are you aware of the soft fork that's going to be happening on Bitcoin that will allow smart contracts happen?
Yeah, but I think I see Bitcoin as a storage of value and not as a dApps. Maybe I need to change my evaluation on the future. That's my thoughts.
Okay, well, it'd be interesting to see. I think, John, you probably know more about that fork after being at the conference last week, yeah?
I don't know if you see my hat, but it's actually the Taproot on it.
Oh, you're breaking up on us there, John.
My hat says Taproot. It's a Taproot.
Oh, it does. Yeah, I'm only noticing that now. Yeah. Okay. So the name of the fork is Taproot. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Well, the upgrade. Yeah. I mean, in simple terms, I think it's going to be great for privacy, security, and yeah, the smart contract is exciting, but Lightning Network needs to be implemented for it to be utilized all around the world. So I'm excited about it.
Okay, so the Lightning Network has to be implemented first. Even though I thought they had a block number where Taproot would kick in, no?
Yeah, sorry. I don't know if I'm breaking up. My internet.
Yeah, you are breaking up a bit, yeah.
Right now. Yeah. I think this is a big step forward to getting more people utilizing that Lightning Network.
Okay. And the Lightning Network is going to be used in El Salvador and stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. John, you asked a question there. Has anybody ever used a MetaMask with a cold wallet as extra security, and what are your thoughts? Harley came in with, do you mean a hardware wallet? So yes, a cold wallet is a hardware wallet. And no, I've personally never used them, so I haven't. I've always kind of felt MetaMask has been secure enough. But I would rather not keep coins on an exchange. If I didn't have MetaMask, I would use a hardware wallet. Because I don't like to keep coins on an exchange. But I think MetaMask gives you liquidity because you're not trying to move coins all the time. So you always have liquidity and it's pretty secure. It's only if you lock it into a contract or something like that that gets hacked that something can happen. So as long as it's in your own wallet with MetaMask, I don't think you really need a hardware wallet for extra security unless you just wanted to completely remove everything from the blockchain and have it in a wallet. Unless anybody else has any other reasons why. Because I've never used them doesn't mean. Archit, are you on mic at all there? I'm not sure if you can speak.
Yeah, I can speak, Paula.
Good stuff. How has your week been, Archit? And what's your strategy at the moment?
I've been, flat out at work, Paula, in fairness, but I'm trying to, play safe and watch across, like in terms of portfolio. I'm not like mad about one particular kind of investment. So I'm trying to, like balance around everything. Weighted risk, what you say in investment banking. Weighted risk is like putting, like a probability proportion of money in everything and, like making the probability increase depending upon how the market perform in that particular asset. So that kind of strategy.
Okay. Okay, and have you been involved in any farming pools or anything like that that you could recommend to anyone?
In fairness, Paula, I'm not into too much farming pool stuff, but I'm, like researching more into these particular old school mining things, that the Chinese people used to do for Bitcoins and everything. I'm going to basics back again, how they used to like mine the transaction hash and everything. So trying to like figure out how this is going to affect like the future pooling, like concepts and how the pooling will be done in the future, because I think everything will be coming from the roots. So they will be trying to improvise all the farming pools depending upon how they used to, like have private chain miners and use big machines or miners in order to, like increase the power of mining and everything. So how
Archit, do you know that's the most productive use of time when there's a bear trend that I have ever heard.
Yeah.
So it is learning and building up your knowledge, and the stuff that you're learning about is way above me. And oh wow, hats off to you, Archit. I'm well impressed. So I am.
Because in fairness, when I used to do my degree in computer science, Paula, the Bitcoin was, like in fairness, in very, very starting stage. So what we used to do as a lab exercise, like we used to have like 5 PC and we used to, like make a network of blockchain and, like start mining few Bitcoins and see like how much time it takes in order to mine like a 0.001 Bitcoin. So if we, like keep the computers on for 5 hours, it will consume like how much kilowatt of electricity and how much like, revenue as an economy it is generating. So we will be trying to, like if you use supercomputers or if you use like more high processing power things, how it's going to, like affect in terms of economic benefits. So just going to the school days.
And have you looked at alternatives to proof of work, so some of the proof of stakes and the validator nodes and stuff like that? Have you looked at any of them, or is it purely just Bitcoin you've been looking at?
In fairness, like Paula, we used to have like Ethereum as well. So as they are doing, like various, what do you say, like in fairness, they are trying to, like have halving of the coins and everything. So I'm trying to, like put a more deeper dive, because anytime that particular thing is getting, like Ether 2.0 or whatever the version. So how that particular proof of stake or proof of work is getting changed. So I need to like be more depth dive in that stuff, because it's very complicated in fairness.
You want to just give, for some of the newer people that are here this evening, a the difference between proof of stake and proof of work.
So let me try to like conceptualize it in the general terms. So in fairness, like what proof of work means, like it's basically, say for an example, there are 5 people and they are doing like a business something, and nobody knows nobody. So everybody is in business in order to make profit. So the person who will be like making the most profit out of the 5% will be the person who will be trusting the person the most. Say for an example, I know Paula and me do most of the business among the 5 people, so we will be making the best profit. So proof of work works in the same manner, if you can get me. Like this is like like people will be putting more resources in order to mine their transaction, so they will be getting that particular like benefits of whatever the transaction fees coming into the network, or they will be getting like more validator nodes in order to validate those transactions and all this particular stuff. And proof of stake is like more kind of like independent nodes mining those transactions, so it will be more secured in terms of validation and more independent. Nobody will be having monopoly, or nobody can monopolize that particular thing. But in fairness, in proof of work, you will be having people who can generate more blocks in terms of storing transaction and hashes. So I think they will be in like winners category or something. I'm trying to be like less tech and more generalized.
That can be hard for a tech person.
Somebody. Yeah.
A few bucks, you haven't said anything. Can you come off mic and say hi? No? Dear Nan? Can you come off mic? You might be minding the kids, so I know quite often you can't come off mic. Okay, well, look, does anybody else have any questions? It is 9 o'clock now. So if we go through some final questions, if there is any, and then we'll do coin of the month, and then that'll be it for this evening. Harley, go for it.
Okay, so this is a bit of a forward kind of thinking question. I'm thinking about Bitcoin. Obviously, there's like a finite amount of Bitcoin, right? And eventually it will run out, or eventually it'll be bought up. Is that what we're assuming? Yeah, and then regardless of the value of what I'm sure it'll obviously be super ridiculous whenever that happens. But then what happens after that? Like, is there because I sort of see Bitcoin as like a gold. This is probably not a good way to see it, like comparing it to the analog stock system, but the way they have, gold, silver, they all have these like, stores of value, but they're, bronze and then iron and steel and blah, 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 blah. And then it just goes on and on and on. Are we going to have something that is sort of equivalent to that? Or is it possible to do that?
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of the infinite amount of Bitcoin, we'll address that first. Okay. So there's going to be 21 million Bitcoin, but they're doing this thing called halving. So we're never really going to get down to zero, because when we get to 100, half of 100 will be 50. You'll always be able to halve. Now we might get down to decimals of decimals, but don't forget there's like, how many, 8 decimals is it on Bitcoin? So we can mine right down to that. So when we get down to 1 Bitcoin left, when the halving happens, it'll go down to half a Bitcoin, then it'll be a quarter of a Bitcoin, then it'll be an eighth of a Bitcoin, then it'll be a 16th of a Bitcoin, and it will actually just continue. But at that stage, when miners are only earning 1/16 of a Bitcoin, they're speculating that the price will be that ridiculous that 1/16 of a Bitcoin will pay the mining fees as such. Okay, so that kind of addresses that issue. In addition to that, the miners also get paid transaction fees. So they have 2 sources of revenue. So if they're mining less Bitcoin, they do have an alternative source, and they are hoping that the network will be busy enough at that stage that the network fees will replace the actual mining fees. Okay. In terms of having a layer, I think we've already seen that layer being established, with Bitcoin being number 1. Now, we did mention earlier on, is there a chance that ETH could flip Bitcoin? But I think if it were to flip Bitcoin, it would be because of its productivity, and the Bitcoin will always remain that store value, that more steady one that will continue to grow. Now, it won't be up like this. It's going to be like that. But the general term is up, and it'll always go up. So I hope that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, really good, really good. And I was just going to say, to add to what we were saying about Bitcoin and the new layer, is it going to be a layer 2? Is that what it's going to be called? This new,
No, not that I know. Maybe John will hop in here. As far as I know, it's a soft fork.
okay.
So there's two types of forks that can happen on a blockchain. A hard fork is a fork where consensus has to be met and everybody has to run a new software. And unless 51% of the miners or the validators or whatever they're called run it, then the chain splits. Okay. And nobody knows until a particular time what software people are going to run. And that's called a hard fork. A soft fork requires less of a consensus vote like that to come in. It's not as big of a software change, and the blockchain never splits. So this is a soft fork. So the blockchain won't split, but as far as I'm aware, it is change of the original code and not a second layer. Am I correct, John?
So it's like an upgrade almost.
Yes.
Just like
100%. Perfect.
instead of,
Perfectly put.
a whole new system.
Yes.
And then just the idea of, sorry, John, if you want to talk there, but I'm obviously not a software developer. I know nothing about anything to do with tech really, but just the idea of Bitcoin being so established. How long, many years is it now? And I'm sure the code.
10 years.
10 years, and like obviously the code and all the techie bits are 10 years old. So the thing, and then as far as I understand, Bitcoin it's very difficult to go back and like change because of all of the locks and all of the different. So then for developers to go back and adjust that in comparison to Ethereum, where they're always kind of moving in.
You don't adjust anything. They won't be adjusting anything. The database as it is. So all the blockchain is a database, and all the Bitcoin blockchain is a database of financial transactions. So that core database won't change, and reaching into that core database to find everything won't change, and developers will still be able to do that. They'll just be given additional functionality.
Got you.
Okay. Brenda, you have your hand up. Yeah.
It's Ali. I'm just going to say
Ali.
something. It's not to make anybody feel worried, but the Federal Reserve yesterday had their meeting, and or was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? I can't remember exactly. I think it was yesterday. And obviously there was an issue right now that the inflation rate in the States has gone up over the expected 2 or 3% that they were hoping. And I would have expected a little bit more yesterday on the move from Bitcoin, not going downwards, because as it's a store of value, it should have done the counter, or it should have been showed a little bit more effectiveness. So, but I guess the FUD was stronger than the purpose of what it should be, should have happened yesterday, even if it was just for a day or two.
Inflation is going to be one of the major drivers of Bitcoin, I personally believe, in the next 12 to 18 months. Unfortunately, the general public don't really care too much about inflation until they actually feel it in their pockets. Now, at the moment, they're hearing about it, but they've had all these helicopter drops and airdrops and free money given out to them. So it hasn't hit them yet.
Yeah.
Nobody's actually feeling that yet. So you kind of, So, in past times, a little bit of news could pump the price of Bitcoin. But unfortunately, we're in this price discoveration at the moment. And there's a fight between the bulls and the bears and the investors and the retail traders and whatnot. And the news just isn't cutting it at the moment. I think that's a really good sign, because you don't want the news to be able to move a market so easily.
But you know what, Paula, in terms of our Irish market, the government is starting to, like recover the money by increasing property taxes, and they are, like trying to increase different bandwidth formulas for corporate taxes as well. So every money that has been, taken as a loan from European Central Bank or anywhere in order to support COVID payment schemes for supporting businesses and everything. So now they are trying to, like recover those money by various sources, and they don't want to put, like pressure on a single person's pocket. So they will be trying to, like spread the field so that, because businesses will take time in order to recover, like you can't be paying like 20% corporate tax just in advance. If somebody has lost his job and he's just recovering into the market, you can't charge him 20% corporate tax. So I think it is a topic of debate, how the recovery plan is going to be all across the world, because the
All
US market
across the
will
world, yeah.
definitely influence, like everything that we do in UK and then in Europe and then in Asia and everything. So let's see how Biden goes over for this one.
It will be very interesting in the States, because I don't think any other country has had the helicopter money that the States have done, and the level of printing, as far as I'm aware, now correct me if I'm wrong, but the Eurozone only printed 3 trillion.
Only.
That they say on papers, follow. That they say on
Yeah.
papers.
Yeah, but that's how much they've printed. Yeah. How much of the dodgy, yeah, we don't know. But that's substantially lower than what the States have done. So it'll, yeah, it is going to-
but I think the inflation is already here. And if the people don't feel it, it's because they don't account for the money they are spending. If you just as a compensation, the price of the bread ultimately it grew up almost 20% on the last months. It's crazy. It's 20% is something essential that everyone takes in a daily basis. If you go and you check, the prices of the houses are crazy in everywhere. It's not just in Ireland. It's everywhere in every country in Europe. The prices skyrocket. So I think if the people don't know inflation, is because they don't understand nothing how the money works, because the inflation is already here and it's eating the pocket of everyone.
But you have to realize as well, 95% of the population don't know how finances work. And they don't care. And that's fine. They don't have to. If everybody knew how they worked, then it wouldn't be as easy for us to make money in crypto.
Yep.
Think of it that way. Okay, well, look, on that, it's now 8:10, so we are going to finish up. But just before we finish up, I'm going to share my screen, because we have our coin of the month. Now, for those that are new, we have a coin of the month challenge, and we all nominate 2 coins at the start of the month. And there's a prize then at the end of the month for whoever gets the best average. And since this month started, things have been quite dire. So you can see there now on our screen, the coin of the month and how everybody's doing, what everybody had. Actually, I don't need these 2 columns. Let me just hide these because they're just duplicates. Okay.
I was gonna say as well, Paula, this is probably not best like month to go this week.
No, do you know what? It was probably the worst month ever to run a contest like this. Okay.
It's a good example, I think, of how, do you know what I mean? How not versatile. How fluctuation can occur. You know, like.
Have we got Marco's in there? Yeah. Okay, Marco, you're in here.
Yeah, it's not finished yet. But I think will be really difficult to beat David.
Well, we had Jay in number 1 last week. So Jay, considering he was in positive last week, is now down in 4th place. David was very clever with his selection, like too clever. You know, it's just an obvious. He will be penalized. Don't worry. Carlos, I have to get a second coin off you still, Carlos. So if you could send that on to me, we'll add it in. Where is John? John is down here because we hadn't got a second coin for you last week, so it's not going so well for you, John. Yeah, so that's where we are. Diernan is here with us in the audience. He's not doing too bad at all. He's number 5. He's held up there in the top positions last week as well. So that is coin of the month, everybody. So we have, how long have we got left on this one? Actually, next Friday. No, we'll do the results the Friday after on the 2nd. So next Friday will be the last week shown the leaderboard. The following week we'll have the results, and we'll also start the new contest the following week as well. And there is prizes for this, okay? So even if they're minuses, there's still going to be winners and there's still going to be losers. So well done to everybody for taking part, even though it was a bit of a crappy month. So that is it then for this evening, unless anybody has any last questions that they want to ask.
If I may?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just really curious. I'm not asking for financial advice, but I'm just wondering what everybody thinks about. Maybe everybody wants to give a little bit of a price prediction for Bitcoin for the end of this year.
The end of this year?
Yeah.
Ooh, I think by the end of this year, we could probably be sitting at about 80,000. Hi. Anybody else want to hop in?
I was going to say 85, but you raised me. So I will stick to your 80,000. You're the expert.
I think by the end of the year, we are already on the end of this bull run. So we should be lower than that. I think we should reach the 100K this year, but then he is going to finish the bull run. I think you told once that you expect that to happen on September, October, right, Paula?
Yeah, so some of the mathematical predictions were saying that this particular bull run isn't over until September. But I think this dip and the FUD and the Elon Musk and all these external factors that have come into play have set this bear trend off to be a little bit longer than it really should have been. There should have been a correction and things should have kept going. But that's not what happened. So I think this could actually extend the time frame now of the bull run. So I'm thinking that we could be still okay, but I was thinking my top as 100. But if we've hit that, we could be on our way back down by Christmas, yeah, and be at 80. But I do think we may have extended out a little bit.
But that's the beauty of the market. So if you know how to play that market, you will always increasing your position. So you know that the market goes up and down. You just need to ride well that waves.
John is saying maybe 70K. Anybody else? Archid?
I would say around, like 60.
Put your
or
model.
something.
Put your
60.
model in game.
Oh, no. You know what? Like, I will go with, what does Little Paula think? Little Paula, what number do you think? How much going to be Bitcoin?
How much will Bitcoin be?
Say for a random number.
100 grand. 100 grand, she said.
Very nice.
I believe in that as well. 100K.
So we'll go with an average, with Paula's and Little Paula's average.
Right, then, well, listen, on that, we'll finish up for the evening. Harley, did you want to hop in there with a price?
No, I just put I put 92 just to be weird, just to put a weird.
Viviana?
I said 75K.
Oh, 75K. Brenda and Ali?
I said 85. What do you think, Ali?
I think it will start going parabolic towards the end of the year, probably September, October.
Like, what? Give a price.
It's difficult to say, but 2x for sure.
2x for sure. John, do you know what? We should have a prize, and that's a really good idea. What we'll do is run a proper contest, because this has been just a random discussion. But that is a really good idea for a contest, that we guess the price for a specific date, and we will do that for sure.
Before you
Right,
go,
well,
Paula, before you go, just last thought about the price prediction of Bitcoin. Don't you think inflation, alongside with hedge funds and big investment companies going in, and inflation will cause them to have cash crunch and a bit of liquidation of their Bitcoin reserve, and that will affect the price to go lower than what it is at the moment? Or you don't think?
I don't think so. So I don't. There's an awful lot of wealth out there that is just beyond comprehension. And I think money is people that have that sort of money are very smart and they move it at the right times. I don't think the traditional markets are correlated very much with the cryptocurrency market, although they have shown correlations in the past. But I really think that because crypto offers an alternative, it's not going to follow the exact same principles.
The only correlation is when there is a crash, like the one on March 2020, everything is affected. It's not just crypto, it's everything. So that's our exceptions that happen on the market. But manipulation you will have all the time, since there is money involved. You will always have the whales playing with that, the market makers cleaning the
don't forget, most of the whales are, they're in the game 10 years before any of the investors got into the game, and they have thousands of Bitcoins.
Yeah. And you see,
I believe India is there was something in the news yesterday on India when it goes to parliament in the next few weeks. I don't know when it is, when they have their discussions on cryptocurrency, but it's going in the right direction now.
Salvador way.
India. Not Salvador, not necessarily Salvador way that far, but it's going from negative to positive, put it this way, for India. And that's important.
I think it'll be adopted by a lot of countries over the next 2 years. We'll see a lot of El Salvador's coming out over the next couple of years. We've had a change of price prediction here, by the way. She's gone to 200,000 now. She's decided to whisper to me.
Oh, I think, you know what? If she wins, Paula, you need to give her a grand prize. I think she will win.
10% of your profits to the little Paula.
You'll get her Lambo. You'll get her Lambo.
I will listen, everybody. I think that's it for tonight. Thank you all for coming, and I will see you all next week.
Thanks, guys.
I'll see you all next week. Okay.
You're
Take
Bye.
it easy. Bye now. Bye bye.